This is my final Murder Drones theory, unless Glitch decides to pull a fast one and continue the story later on. I was really thinking hard about how I should structure this theory, considering that it's presumably my last one, and I decided it would be fun to make this part theory, part predictions, and part analysis of the trailer, since I unfortunately never got around to making a proper trailer analysis, which, I'll be real, I haven't been the best when it comes to consistently uploading either, so my apologies, But I figured this would be my last opportunity to go over every frame in the trailer, or at least all of the significant frames, and try to piece together what I'd like to see happen. At the end, I'll also try to figure out how the series will end, but, that's going to be kind of hard to do given how unpredictable this show is. But before I start analyzing the trailer, I know many of you are disappointed that this may be my final Murder Drones theory. But when it comes to the longevity of this channel, I'm just getting started. Sure, I'll probably still make Murder Drones videos from time to time if I have a good idea, but in the future, I'll be making videos about different indie animated shows, including upcoming Glitch projects. There's so much I want to accomplish with this channel going forward, and I really hope that despite Murder Drones coming to an end, you'll still stick around with me for my future content. So yeah, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on what I have in store. The trailer opens up with a brief montage of our journey so far, showcasing clips from previous episodes on an old PC monitor. While it is cool to see, this doesn't really have anything of importance, so moving on, we see what looks to be the destroyed remains of Copper 9 with Sin's tendrils coming out of it. If I had to guess, this either takes place soon after Uzi's arrival in space, or to me the more likely option is later on in the episode, because at the very end of the trailer, we see a spaceship flying at an incredible speed, almost as if it's trying to run away from something. I think there's a possibility that Khan, Lizzie, Thad, and maybe Jay managed to escape the planet on her ship right before the Solver destroyed it, with those tendrils being a result of that, and the ship is maybe trying to outrun them. If that is Jay's ship, that would mean that there has to be some sort of resolution between everyone, because at the end of the previous episode, it looked like they were about to fight. Either way, this episode will probably house the most Jay screen time the world has ever seen. In all seriousness though, Jay seems to be very important to the episode, as she's even a part of the banner along with Sin. That also goes to show just how loyal Jay is to Tessa, or rather just Sin. Yeah, I think there's a good chance Jay knew it wasn't really Tessa all along and plans to stick by her for a bit. I mean, it's always possible that she didn't know, but I can also see her being reprogrammed to follow everything Sin does. There are actually two separate scenes with Jay later in the trailer, both with her pointing her weapon at something. The popular belief is that she's aiming at Sin, which I can actually see happening. Maybe if she's being controlled, she somehow snaps out of it and begins to uncover the truth. Although I think that's more likely, it could definitely be Jay aiming at someone else. One scene that immediately caught everyone's attention though is this one of Uzi with oil on her face staring at something. Many people believe that she's staring at V's corpse because the area she's in looks similar to the room where the elevator was. But honestly, I don't really see it. Maybe the room is just too dark to really make out any significant details, but it doesn't really look like the same room at all. It actually looks like the same room where we see Sin. So Uzi is probably facing off with her, and that's who she's staring at. I can also see this not being real, and perhaps it's all in Uzi's head. It could always just be the Solver entering Uzi's mind, since right now Uzi is kinda occupied in space, so I don't know really how she'll be able to get to the surface of the planet, so maybe Sin just kind of went into her mind and she's kind of hallucinating while still being in space. I don't know. I mean, they'll probably still find a way to bring her back to the surface of the planet, but still. Over the last 2 years of making videos about this show, it still blows my mind at how hard it is to predict anything. Like, I think I can probably name only a few things that I correctly predicted since I started making theories, but I guess that's the fun in making theories. You don't really know. you kind of just have to go off of what little information you have, and in the case of a show like Murder Drones, where it's just lore after lore after lore, tons of things that aren't really explained the best, it's kind of just very difficult. So yeah, like, I'll be legit shocked if even a fraction of what I say in this video comes true. Anyway, moving on to the following scene. This is most certainly Nori's closet, as we see her drawings of Sin, disassembly drones, the Singularity, and of course as cool as she could draw. Everything is floating as well, so this is either an event that takes place underground like we saw in episode 7, or this is happening as the planet collapses, which I think is also possible as it clearly shows the drawings of this same event occurring. This drawing right here also kind of reminds me of the planet with tendrils coming out of it. Nori really did predict everything, huh? So next we see Uzi falling through space, and this most likely takes place right where we left off, as soon as Uzi arrives through the flesh hole, which, you know, it sounds really weird calling it that, but I can't think of another name, damn it, just go along with it. I still really want to believe that this is where she reunites with her mom, and hopefully comes up with a plan to take down the Solver. Next, there's actually a few different scenes I want to talk about for a very specific reason, including one additional screenshot that Glitch recently released. The first one is of Uzi holding her railgun, followed by one of N in a battle stance making a face as if he's coming to some sort of realization, and then we see Sin leaping off of some railing outside of Cabin Fever, with her dodging what looks to be a missile of some sort. It goes by so fast it's kinda hard to make out. We also got an additional screenshot of Jay that was posted just a few days ago. One thing that all of these images have in common is that they all seem to take place in the exact same location, with the same lighting and everything. Hell, I'm pretty sure this clip of Khan takes place here as well. This honestly looks like it could be the final fight against Sin, or at least the build-up to the final fight, as we also have a scene showing Sin going after Uzi, and the lighting and everything just feels more intense. So maybe that's the final battle? I don't know. Now obviously Uzi and N would be fighting alongside each other here, and I'm pretty sure Khan is fighting here as well. I wasn't sure at first, as it kind of looked like he was running towards something, but nope. Imagine if his final attack is just building a giant door, finally putting his years of experience at the WDF to good use. My man. Finally, we have the image of Jay, and honestly, I'm not so sure about her. I still feel like there's a chance she's fighting alongside Sin. Again, she's just far too loyal and stubborn, but hey, maybe what N told her in the pilot finally hits her and she decides to break free.
You know, not that I can't wait to keep murdering all these, maybe not so actually different from us worker drones, but just out of curiosity, do we actually, know what the company plans to do with us afterwards? I get the feeling the company doesn't actually love robots, and, like, we might be robots? I've made a terrible mistake. It's cool how immediately I could tell.
Here's hoping, because I actually want to see her get a good ending. So that's everything from the trailer itself, and I'm just about finished rambling, but it does seem like I'm forgetting something. Or someone. Oh yeah, V, I guess. The big elephant in the room is that she's the core that Sin is about to eat in the thumbnail. I actually agree with this, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on the channel before as well, but I thought either the solver would turn her into an eldritch abomination, like we saw in episode 2, or that her body was destroyed by the Sentinels, leaving behind nothing but her core. The latter does seem to be the most realistic though, and I stand by that. And no, Sin is not gonna eat her. She literally already died once. There's no way they're killing her off again. Come on now. To finish things off, how do I see them ending the series? Well, I don't think it's gonna end on a bad note, that's for sure. Liam has once said that he would prefer long-form series to end on a high note, and I totally agree.
As much as my short horror stories usually ended on a dismal note, I think any long-form series in which people are investing a significant amount of time has a bit of an obligation to end positively. I don't think sad endings signify better writing, and misery doesn't equal more depth or realism, so the characters get together and all live happy life together. That's canon.
Why go through all of that turmoil throughout the series just to have a devastating ending? I know it works for some shows, but I feel like with something akin to Murder Drones, I feel like they want to have some sort of satisfying resolution. I don't think anyone significant is gonna die either, and if someone does, it'll most likely be En sacrificing himself or something. Considering that he can regenerate, I feel like something would have to occur that prevents him from doing so. But at the end of the day, I expect just about everyone to get out unscathed. Except Sin, of course. While I do think they could defeat her simply by smacking her with her real cross, I'm kinda hoping her death is much more dramatic than that. I've previously said that I'm not sure how killing Sin alone would take down the entire program, but I guess since Sin is its host, she could just be the source altogether and the program could always go down with her. It's going to be really interesting though to see how they jump between the different characters doing their own thing before having them all reunite for one final battle. I mean, we have Uzi in space, En who is alone. He'll probably eventually meet up with the gang fighting Jay, and who knows, maybe he will reunite with V's core. I think that would be amazing. And of course, the one thing that everyone wants to happen, hell, I've seen even someone at Glitch teasing it through, I believe, the Glitch in, the fabled Uzi and En kiss scene. That is all. I also feel like by the end of the finale, no one is gonna have a planet to return home to. It's done. Like, unless they somehow are able to reverse the damage done by the Absolute Solver, they're either gonna have to migrate to a new exoplanet or just live in space. I don't know. Maybe on that spaceship if it's roomy enough. I don't know. But that also means that all of the remaining worker drones on Cobra 9 are dead, which was kind of a given, but you know, I know it's a little depressing, but I'm still hoping that besides that, the show ends on a relatively high note. As I mentioned before, I feel like the disassembly drones minus En, of course, because he already kind of knew that from the beginning, but hopefully V, if she is still alive, and Jay come to the realization that, yeah, worker drones aren't all bad. They're not bad at all. It's more so we were manipulated by this AI program, and that is why we were going after them in the first place. So hopefully they can all start to live in harmony, and yeah, that's my big hope. Anyway, I know this was unlike any of my other theories, as it was more of an analysis and predictions, but I just didn't have the time to go over every possible theory, especially this close to the episode's release. I do want to apologize though for the inconsistency with uploads lately, as you know, I've just had so much going on in my personal life that I really haven't had much time to sit down and film anything, but I will definitely try to improve on that going forward. And despite that, I really hope you all enjoyed this unorganized mess of a theory, and I'm excited to see if any of it comes true next week. I'll see you all on the other side.